I've got the windows open to make sure. Okay. So we are live on Twitch.
And we are live on YouTube.
Yeah. Peekaboo. Ah, where's my mic? There you go. Peekaboo. There you go. Hello. Are you laughing at my amazing intro?
Yeah, because it sounds like my kid. He started doing that
Fair enough.
peekaboo thing. It's very
Oh, yeah?
endearing on him.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of things that are, taste is relative. There's things that are humorous to some and not to others.
Sure.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mental Breakdad podcast. We are here today, Necrovoker and I, to just chat about whatever the heck we feel like on that particular day. Usually chosen a couple of days in advance, or sometimes the day of. It depends. But today we were actually a few days in advance, so
Yeah,
we'll pat ourselves on the back for this organization this time. Yes, good job. Good job. I was going somewhere with this.
I'm sure you were. You're doing great, sweetie.
This morning in the shower, I had the perfect intro, and I was like, man, I need to write this down as soon as I get out of the shower. And what did I do? I went and had breakfast.
That was a good choice.
Yeah, no, it was not. It was evidently not. So, this week's subject, what we decided to talk about is, so for those of you who might be new here, the Mental Breakdad podcast is a podcast that focuses mostly on mental health and our own experience with different issues in mental health and with different things that we've lived through and that we've seen others live through, and just to kind of open the conversation about it a bit and really just have discussions and see where they lead and see if maybe we can help ourselves, help each other, and help others. So this week, the subject that was suggested was burnouts. Burnouts suck. We've both, I believe, lived through at least a burnout, you and I, Necro, and we're here to talk about that today. So you're the one who suggested the subject this week. Did you want to elaborate a little bit on why?
Well, I'd say it's a subject that touches a lot of people, and burnout is also like one of the most not necessarily visible, but the one like the people are the most like willing to accept as well, like in terms of mental illness, especially in the workplace. Because people understand like exhaustion, people understand stress. Let's like, I feel like for some reason, like I guess because it's so much like there's so much of a physical aspect to it. It's one of those like that people understand, and it's also like I guess the one that doesn't really need like, you need like a good break to deal with it, and yeah, like, and to do some certain things, but like you don't need like years of therapy or necessarily to go through it. So I guess like the treatment itself also is more approachable for people. So I thought it would be a good idea, and we're both very overworked these days, so I thought that was a good subject to tackle.
Yeah, well, definitely. I cut out for a while there, so I may have missed a few words of what you said. I'm not sure because I think I lost internet for like a split second.
Woof.
But but from what I could tell, your main reasoning for bringing it as a subject was because of how common it is and how more known it is a little bit. So you wanted to kind of touch upon it. Did I miss something important in there?
No, that's totally it, and
Okay.
it's also gonna be like, I'd like to approach also like one of the aspects that's less known. It's like the parental burnout, because like everyone knows like the workplace burnout, but not necessarily the yeah, the aspect that, the fact that like I mean, at the end of the day, being a parent is a full-time job, more than a full-time job. It's a like 24/7 job, and that can lead to burnout in certain ways. So
Absolutely.
so I thought that we could touch upon that uh, aspect of it and how we make sure it doesn't happen, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's interesting about what you just said, my last burnout, because I've had two burnouts in the last 3 years. They were both for different circumstances and then for different reasons and things like that. But and I guess actually before we move forward, I guess we should try and define a bit more what a burnout is in our minds because like there's the scientific or the medical version of it, which I don't have in front of me, so I'm gonna butcher it. But it's basically when you are so overworked and so overstressed that it limits your functionality. It's you can't physically do the littlest things without it seeming like a gigantic mountain, and that makes it very difficult to do just the basic things, do the dishes or whatever, like meaningless tasks that just seem insurmountable. Um, is that about the same definition that you have in your mind?
Yeah, exhaustion is definitely one of the like hyper exhaustion is definitely a
Yeah.
big one, and not finding the energy to do task related to the cause of your burnouts is definitely in that. One of the um one of the things that happen actually a lot is that like burnout is often accompanied by depression, and people often don't see that because exhaustion is also, and like what you described as everything being a mountain is one of the core symptom of having depression. So it's really hard to differentiate between the two of them. But yeah, totally, you're gonna be like extreme exhaustion, irritability. You don't want to do the tasks, like anything related to what's causing the burnout. So you know, like you get that like I'm sick of this place type mentality. Um, I think that's pretty much it. I guess like basically it's just you've spent so much of yourself that you can't possibly recover, basically, and like you're
Yeah.
literally spent.
And usually following a very intense period or a prolonged period that you were not allowed to stop, basically,
Yeah,
or that you didn't allow yourself to stop. In some cases, that it always depends on the situation. Um,
and
but yeah,
it doesn't necessarily like, one of the important thing is that like it doesn't also like, it's not always like the result of like a marathon or a sprint of stress either. Like you just, everyone's built differently. You just need like one element of stress is enough to just like over time fuck you up, basically. There's just, if
yeah,
there's one
definitely.
toxic element in your workplace or just working environment or your parenting environment, like that can affect you long term, and that can lead to burnout eventually, because you're still on, in the long term, spending a little bit more than you can actually give, and that eats into your reserves, and eventually you're just gonna be at zero and be incapable of going back to even 1%.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, your battery is completely empty, and it's difficult to boot up again and to try and refill that battery, especially when as soon as you refill it a little bit, it gets re-emptied right away.
Yep.
And I think you put your finger on it. Everybody's battery is different. Everybody's battery has different capacity, has different retention.
Yep.
Like there's not two batteries that are the same. So, but this leads me to the anecdote that I was going to say earlier. The last time that I went into sick leave. I'll put it that way. A few months ago because of of kind of a burnout, I guess, but there was a variety of reasons. So I suffer from depression. That's not a secret. I've mentioned it a few times. Um, I suffer from a type of depression that's a little less known that I don't even know that well. It's called subclinical depression, which means that the two main symptoms, the extreme demotivation and the extreme sadness, when I have my depressive episodes, I usually only have one of those two, not the two at the same time, which
Oh,
apparently means it's a subclinical depression. And usually the one that I have is the huge lack of motivation, and I don't have the huge sadness that much. It happens sometimes, but not it's not a regular thing. Um, but all that to say that it makes it extremely difficult to kind of uh, understand or detect whether I'm going through a depressive episode where I'm losing all of my motivation or if it's an actual burnout. Because a burnout, even though everyone has their own capacity, a burnout is usually caused by something outside of yourself that's affecting your life and the way that you're trying to manage. Whereas depression is chemically in the head, right? Um, so yeah, so it makes it difficult to understand. And I was talking about that to my doctor as we were discussing possibly going on leave. And I think her answer was really interesting because she said at the end of the day, it didn't really matter because at the end of the day, what mattered was am I able to function or not?
mm,
And the reason behind why you're not able to function, even if it's because of work or because of the of parenthood that's overwhelming sometimes, or if it's something completely different, there's only one thing that you can actually go on leave for, and that's work. So she's like, the end result's going to be the same. We're going to put you on leave. I can't put you on leave from your family. I can't put you on leave from
mm-hmm.
anything else going on in your life, but I can put you on leave for work. And that'll free up a bit of that time for you to try and recharge that battery a little bit more efficiently. So I thought that was an interesting take on it, talking to my doctor about it. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. That's the thing, right? Because like the most effective cure for burnout is like, like when your phone is like at 15%, and like if you plug it at 15%, it's gonna go back to 20 in like a few minutes. But if you let it go to zero, it's gonna take its time to reboot, and then it needs to recharge, to actually recharge. And that's what you need to do when you're in a burnout. You need to do uh you need like to take a month basically and just like do nothing for that month. But that works for the workplace. That uh doesn't work for being a parent.
no, exactly. And what you were saying recently to me was that your workplace, you were having fun with it. You were busy, but it was still like you enjoy your job and all that. So that wasn't a huge issue. Um, where the overwhelming came from was mostly from your personal life, which I get. I mean, being a parent, nobody's going to tell you it's easy, and if they are, they're lying.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? Because like, and it's not like a like negative thing, right? It's just like
No,
I love my kids, love my wife. It just that, coupled with work, coupled with like other obligations, just coupled with being me a little bit, like everything in that, like that's more than 24 hours a day, and I still need to sleep once in a while.
yeah, you need to try.
And then like sleep, obviously you don't sleep as much because you have kids that wake up in the night, that wake up way earlier than what you what you like, so even in the weekend, so you don't get that recharge ever basically. And I mean that's kind of fine. So, and you can't take like can't take a month leave from being a parent. That doesn't work that way. So you
You can take a weekend if you've got the trusty babysitters.
Yeah, exactly. So you take those wins when you can, but like they're more like quick fixes more than like an actual cure. Um, when you can still do other stuff, right? You need to um one of the best ways, and even for regular burnout, is just like self-care is super important. And one of the reasons to take leave is to be able to take care of yourself. Be able, because oftentimes when you're in a burnout, you don't have the energy to take care of yourself. That's when like you're gonna start to look disheveled a little bit more. You're gonna stop caring about how you look at work. Stop caring about feeding yourself well, about exercising. You're just not gonna have the time or motivation for any of this, and
Yeah, and
that's really important for your self-image, and your physical health is super important in overcoming it.
I think it's funny that you mentioned, for example, just the part about um, not caring about what you look like for work and all that, because for a lot of us, you included, myself included, we were working from home for a while, so that care, like taking care of ourselves to go to work, that's a part of. Let me rephrase. When you get up in the morning, you clean yourself, you try to make yourself look good, and that makes you feel good, right?
Yep.
It gives you a little boost of confidence because you look as best as you can for work. And I don't know about you, but working from home, sometimes I won't comb my hair, sometimes I won't give a crap. Like I'll my beard was out of control for a long time. I could not care less. And then it just it nags at you just a little bit without you even noticing those, and it's those little things that kind of just dig your dig your hole a little bit deeper and
Yep.
gets heavy, definitely.
Totally.
um
Yeah, and I still like don't do like the full. I mean, even when I was going to work, I didn't like fully like do the whole like go to the nightclub like
yeah, not
may
the full get up.
yeah, but uh so at home I don't do it, but yeah, you definitely notice like if you start like working your PJs, like that's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope from there.
Because like there's the fact that like your self-perception is important, and
Hmm.
I mean PJs are great, man, but but
I,
like you don't want to work in them really, because you don't want to work in them. They're not made for that. They're made to like for leisure.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a balance to be found, especially working from home. If you're working an office job, then maybe you're going to lean on one side more than the other. But I do think there's a balance to be found between the look, the professionalism, and the comfort. Like I have some dress shirts because I gained some weight, so I have some dress shirts that are super tight. They still fit, but barely, and I feel like all the buttons are just going to pop up and blind the people in front of me. And I hate wearing those shirts. I'm not
Oh, did we lose Holorum? I think we lost Holorum. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You're okay. And I'm okay. Holorum's not okay. Holorum looks like he's having a seizure. But he's probably gonna be okay.
I hear you now.
Oh, are you back?
Maybe.
You still look like you're suddenly paralyzed though, so like
Yeah, I can see that. You were gone for a second, but you're back now.
Am I?
Um,
That's
all
scary.
right. Maybe if unless it comes back in the next few seconds, maybe I'll just reconnection successful. Thank you, Windows.
I mean, let's keep it like that. I like talking to like a like cut out image of yourself just like
Yeah.
in the worst.
Looks like he's having a sudden heart attack. Oh well, that doesn't help. My software closed.
That might be it. Oh, there you go. You're
Hey,
moving
I've
again.
returned. Yay. Okay. I don't know why it did that, but it did that. That's a thing it did. All right. Let me just check real quick, make sure I'm still.
Right, so you're talking about shirts.
Where was I with my shirt?
You said you hated wearing them, and I get that because I hate wearing
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah, I like wearing a nice dress shirt that fits nicely. I think I look good in them and makes me feel good, like I was saying earlier. But I hate when the shirt is too tight and that I feel like I'm suffocating or that I need to suck in my gut all day. So that's what I mean by there's a balance to be found between the comfort and the look. And I don't know if I was going any further with this, but I'll stop it there because I completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Like I kind of like went through different phases, especially like in the beginning of the pandemic. Because yeah, I've been working from home since 2020 at this now, so it's
March
been
2020.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
And even before that, I was working from home a little bit. Did
Oh, okay.
like a few days a week. And yeah, so I went through different stages of like, okay, I need to dress this way, or like in some, and then it started like to slip into like, okay, wearing like joggers and wearing like PJs sometimes, and then like you notice a dip, right? It doesn't work, and like it also if like not only it doesn't work because you don't want to work in those attire, and the other thing is that like it starts, one of the big traps of working from home is that like the separation from work and your regular life starts to get very blurry. And if you start
Yeah.
like wearing PJs at work and your work is at home, like that separation becomes even blurrier, and that's
Yeah.
very dangerous because then like
Yeah, it can be.
your brain cannot distinguish when you're at work and when you're not at work, so you're always connected, and that's when burnouts happen. So you can totally have a burnout while working from home.
Yeah, because your brain never knows that it's time to disconnect and that it's time to rest because you're still in the same location at your work. There wasn't that transit period where some of us are stuck in traffic, which I guess isn't that great, but but it's needed to have, like you said, that separation. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so now like yeah, I try to always like I dress like comfortable, but at least like I'm dressed.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
that's what matters.
Yeah,
You need to still have that routine of like, okay, I'm going to work now, and then I'm off work. That's
yeah.
important.
I've very rarely worked in PJs. Maybe a few times at the beginning, just because I could and I thought it was funny. But most of the time, I would get dressed. However, I now own for the first time in 25 years sweatpants. I did not have sweatpants before. So I did get a couple of those, and I do wear those for work sometimes. But at least they're still pants. They're not PJ pants or boxers,
Yeah.
So.
I guess a good thing for me is that I hate wearing sweatpants.
Oh, really?
I fucking hate them for some reason.
You're the first person I've heard that says that they hate them.
I'm
I mean,
so uncomfortable in them for some reason. I don't know
huh.
why. I'm super comfy in jeans though, and that's all I wear. So that's that's good for me.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I judge you a little bit, but that's fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, I like my sweatpants. Jeans to me are an issue sometimes. I need to find the right fitting jeans because I have very big thighs. I have Bushman thighs, is what my dad calls them. They're the family heirloom. Uh, but so I need to find the right fit or the right fabric. Like there's a pair of jeans that I'm wearing now actually that have like a bit of a stretchy jeans fabric. Those are super comfy. I love those. But if I get those straight legged ones by accident or whatever, I can't wear those. And don't even get me started on skinny jeans. Holy cow!
Oh my god, I remember wearing skinny jeans when I was younger, and like
I remember you wearing skinny jeans when you were younger.
and I don't understand. Like, first of all, I don't understand why. I guess that was just the thing at the time, right? And that's fine.
Yeah, it was.
And like, but I don't understand the logistics of them anymore. Like I don't like I look at my leg and I know I'm much fatter than I used to be, but like I have like childbearing hips. like like I have the blessings of fertility on my body. Like I don't understand how they are able to like get like on me and then off me. That
And
doesn't
then
work.
off, yeah. Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, that's shitty.
There's when I was doing just to go back to the subject a little bit, I was doing a bit of research on the subject just to be a bit prepared for today, and I ran into something that I thought was really interesting and pertinent in today's day and age. Um, but first, let me ask you this: when the pandemic hit and your whole office was sent home to work from home, how long did it take for your office to adapt the workload? Like, were you super busy for a while or not busy at all for a while, or was it pretty seamless?
Uh think it's complicated. Basically, like part of this is like my office was already like dispersed around Canada, so like
Right.
our infrastructure was already online. So like we were all doing like we didn't have. I mean, we did have a hard drive, I guess, but like uh, most of our things were like are on a server basically. That we use online platforms for everything. So in that sense, like we were, I guess, like the most prepared for it as we
Okay.
could be. Um, but what affected our workload is that like our main clients basically they stopped working because they were not ready at all. Uh, so like for couple of months, basically we worked through our backloads because we didn't have much like new stuff to do except like our like regular ish work. Like we didn't get new like research requests for a long time.
Yeah.
While that part of the shop got back into the groove basically. And it just took a few months and then it was back basically during the summer. So it got back pretty fast. But even then, like during that time, we still like, I mean, always had work to do anyway, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay. I asked because that was not the case on my end. My job when we went into the pandemic was directly linked to public programs. So I was working for the public with the public that was going out doing activities, right?
Yeah,
And all of that shut down right off the bat. And for the first couple of months, not only did I have nothing to do, my whole work environment had nothing to do or almost nothing to do except communication, except talking with the public via social media and whatnot. And I was not at all involved in that. So the first couple of months, we had absolutely nothing to do. And my manager, who was also manager for communications, was completely swamped because he had to do all the communications. But he was so swamped that he couldn't delegate, which left me and a couple of coworkers with nothing to do. And this kept going and kept going. And then all of a sudden, there's a week where I got to work. I got to work on a plan to see if we're going to reopen the museum that I work for, or that we're going to see what kind of programming we could do within the current context. And after a week of working on that program, on that plan, I present it. It turns out that the Health Canada recommendations won't allow anything, so we're just going to scrap the plan. Fine, I expected it, but I'm back to another couple of months of doing absolutely nothing. And that lasted for about a year, like
wow, okay,
almost a year of me almost doing nothing and just sitting in front of my desk begging for work. And it's shortly after that year was up and that I started working again gradually that I hit what I consider my second burnout in 3 years. And so the concept that I ran into when I did my research this week, I thought it was interesting because they called it a bore out. So kind of a burnout, but caused by the opposite of a burnout. It's caused by the fact that you're so bored at work that you start losing interest and you start losing that sense of accomplishment, and that just kind of digs your hole. And it's much more internal. It's much more feeling that feeling of uselessness and that feeling of not contributing, that begins affecting you. And it's interesting because that's what I was talking with my psychologist at the time, was that I felt like I wasn't contributing and I needed to feel like I was part of something, you know? And as time went on, that never resolved itself. So I tried to do it outside of work and all that, but it was never really the same because I'm still stuck in front of my computer 37 and a half hours a week trying to contribute. Um, so yeah, I thought that was an interesting concept, the concept of bore out, and I had never heard of it before this week. And apparently, it's pretty new, and they're trying to bring awareness to it, especially in the context that we're in now, because that's the kind of context, just kind of like my situation, where it could potentially happen that all of a sudden your workload either changes or your work description completely changes, and you stop getting that validation from 40 hours of your week. That can be hugely detrimental to your mental health.
Yeah, because like I don't know about you, but like I'm fine like when I have like tasks that are like in like a few days or a few weeks, like I can organize my time and I know like I don't have to stress, I don't have to do it right away, but like I know like I compartmentalize, like I know that I need to allocate resources to certain jobs basically.
Yeah.
And when I don't have anything to do, it stresses me the fuck out because like I don't know.
Yeah,
And so like
exactly.
I'm waiting and looking at my emails. I'm like, send me something
Yeah,
to do because like
anything.
I don't know
I'll
when
I'll
it's gonna.
I'll make an Excel graph. I don't care. Just give me something to do.
Like because like I need to know.
Yeah.
I need to
No,
know when it
absolutely.
comes. I need to do it. And like, oh yeah, it stresses me the fuck out. Like, so even when it happens, I just hate it. Then I have just disconnect. I do something else, and then like I come back once like the wheels have turned a little bit more, and nah, things are ready for me. And I have the chance of working in a like place that doesn't have a like huge workload, but it's like a constant trickle of work. So I'm always like comfortably busy, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think that's ideal.
Yeah,
I think I think that's the balance that a lot of workplaces have trouble finding.
yeah.
The workplaces that I've been in lately. Well, am I losing connection again? No, Twitch seems to have bugged, but the rest seems okay. Anyways, the workplace, like I work in an industry that's closely related to. Whoops, OBS is gone. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, it says that OBS disconnected.
Well, I don't hear you through OBS, so
Yeah, that's fair. Uh, um, well, I might have like 3 different streams. We'll see. Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyways, we'll stick to YouTube for now. Uh, so, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I work in an industry closely related to tourism, right? So tourism comes in waves. So you have those waves that are hugely like busy and very intense, and then there's the other portion that is completely dead.
yeah.
And once you go through that cycle a few times, then you can start to reallocate a few things, a few planification type of items um, to make it a bit better. But it doesn't always work in an ideal way, and it does take that experience, those few cycles, so that those first few months or that first year or so can get really really tough and really intense at times. Um, and it's definitely something that I feel I've struggled with over the past for work. So yeah, being constantly busy but at a sustainable level, I think that's the ideal situation that you would want.
Yeah, no, exactly, because yeah, we work in different industries, right? Like me, I work in the human rights sector, so humans are dick on a very regular basis, so there's always gonna be more to report. And just like, I mean, we have certain weeks that are busier than others, like when Haiti collapse or the United States decides to just let the terrorists win, shit like that. But otherwise, like, it's pretty constant, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Anything else you wanted to bring to the table today?
Uh,
How are you feeling now?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Just tired.
You're climbing out of the hole a bit?
Yeah, just yeah, it's good. It's just there's been a lot of like stuff going on in the uh like mental health related, I guess, like just realization also like recently that I likely have ADHD. Like right now I ADHD the fuck out and just completely forgot what I was talking about. But yeah, so like there's just been like a lot of stuff going on, I guess, that like piles up on my mind, and that doesn't help like the like it creates a mental backlog which can exhaust you as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let me ask you this. What kind of self-care routine do you use to help yourself out of those types of situations when it starts becoming a bit too much?
well, I'm trying new stuff right now because like one of my biggest problem, and I'm sure you have you likely have the same problem as me, is like I eat a lot when I'm stressed
Hmm.
because
Same.
it brings me comfort. Like I don't see it like as like people call it like eating your emotions away, but like I don't see it that way. It's just like I need a source of comfort, and I love food. So when I need comfort, food is one of the things that are very readily available that I can just shove into my mouth and feel better about it. So
Especially working from home, your fridge is full, eh?
yep, yep.
Yeah.
So that's a bad. That's a bad. So I need to get back into like you need to eat like healthy. You need to eat like on a regular schedule because that helps regulate your body, helps regulate your schedule, your life. It helps like create like those portions of time allocated to certain tasks.
Yeah, it helps break down your day too. Like when you say like yeah, I have breakfast at around this hour and I have my snack at around this hour, is like it gives you that sequence in your day too. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
absolutely.
exactly. And um otherwise like I mean it's always hard, right? But like gonna try to work out or at least like be physically active or just like not sitting around like all day. I guess one of the good things of having kids is like they are a workout in it in
Yeah.
themselves. So like they're not always like
Well
the
said.
most like active or like crazy workout. Like you're not always like super like sweating and panting, but like they are a general like I guess like they give your body like a little bit of tone. Like just general like daddy strength.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good at
The
least.
get working on that dad bod.
And
But yeah.
it's so funny with that bot because like I've never been like I've I'm probably like the fattiest I've ever been in my life, and like just like the and I'm starting to get older as well, so like I'm starting to get like ugh. But then on the other hand, like I don't think I've ever been like as strong as I am right now, even when I was way more buff than I am. So
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
just like
You
it doesn't build like visible muscle, but like carrying your kids that are like almost like 40 pounds there like all day every day is just like it builds a lot of like actual strength. So that's good.
and you know what it is? Like this is a theory, but I'm sure it's true. So I have a history of going to the gym and all that, and I had a personal trainer for a while when I was younger and all that. So when you want to build muscle, you need to Like if you want big muscles, you take big weights with a few amounts of repetitions, but you do the very specific repetition for that muscle to make it bigger, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a child stay still in somebody's arms? They
Nope.
don't. So you're holding a child in your arm, and you're working your forearm strength, your fingers, your biceps. You're working your back, your core. You're working everything trying to contain this little creature in front of
Oh
you.
my
And
freaking god, yeah.
I think that's why we get stronger as parents than if we would work out. Even though like I am not cut at all, right? But like you, I still feel like I can lift. Like if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put some weights in front of me, I could lift them. Maybe not with the proper technique, and you won't see my muscles bulge, but I can lift them.
No, exactly. Like I mean, before, like back in the day, like I couldn't actually, like, I couldn't bench like 100 pounds or like or anything. Like when and now like when like I carry like one kid that's like already like 30 pounds, and then like the other looks at me like brings his arm up and he's
Yeah.
like, dude,
What about me?
the second baby as well. So so like I
How
get
can
the
you
second
say
baby.
no?
So now like you're not just benching 100 pounds. You're actually like carrying them around like up and down the stairs. You're like
Yeah,
and just like around the house because
and they're
it,
flailing.
oh man, like my fuck, I love my I, I love my second kid. Okay, like my youngest, but like
Yeah,
that motherfucker is like so slippery. Like he's doing like what my wife and I call just like doing the bacon.
yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. He's just like he's fucking Gollum in Two Towers, like trying to escape Sam and Frodo. He's so slippery and like
Uh,
he's always like he's just like loses every like I don't even know how like he becomes like a contortionist when he doesn't want to be around you, or he wants to be around you, but he still does it. Like it's just weird. He becomes like completely limp, like he doesn't have any bones in his body. It's
it's like
so
a
strange.
reflex.
Oh yeah,
Somebody's trying to grab him. He's just like, nah,
nope.
not that easily.
Oh man, so like it's Lord, our friend Lord couldn't understand what I was talking about, and like the last time he came, like a couple of weeks ago, he came by to our house, and he just saw my youngest do one of his like bacon crisis, and he was like, "Oh, that's what she means." It's like,
Yeah,
oh man. So yeah, that kid is a workout and a half.
yeah.
Like trying
It's
to
funny.
climb your head, and then like he's down like near your hips all of a sudden, trying like to control, and he's a bulldozer and he doesn't care. Like he has no sense of self-preservation. So like all day every day is like he's just like throwing himself in the back, like backwards, like almost down the stairs. Like he tries to kill himself like at least like 4 times a day. So
He's
like
just keeping you on your toes.
it's such a workout just to run around, just like try to keep him alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. My second is also they're both daredevils, but my second in particular,
Oh yeah.
their big fun is jumping from place to place, and those places aren't always very the safest place. Uh, from one couch to the other, and then oh, that gets way too easy. So he's just gonna shove the couch over and then leap of faith it into the living
Yeah.
room, trying to. Or they sleep in the same room. They have two beds, but they sleep in the same bed because they refuse to sleep in the other bed. But they'll spend an hour and a half in the evening jumping from one bed to the other.
Yeah.
Uh, it makes for the healthy, active kids, though, at least. So
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll I'll, I'll take that as a win, I guess.
Yeah, he's figured out how to climb on the sofa. So
Yay!
yeah, that's a fun stuff. That's a
That's the second harsh one after he starts walking. When he starts walking, you know you're in for it. Then when he starts climbing, it's like, oh god.
oh yeah, because when he starts climbing, that's when you start to like everyone needs to have like goalie skills.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's like, okay, I'm gonna try to die now. So like, so like you throw yourself from from the sofa like with one leg out, try to like sustain
Yeah,
his life.
just try to put your toe in between the floor and his head, just to have that little cushion.
Oh man, kids are hard.
Uh, the other day, my oldest was kind of running around, and uh, I realized that I had those dad reflexes because he was running around going under the table and kind of climbing all over the place. And every time, like, I wouldn't stop him because it was fine. But every time that he would go close to a hard place, I put my hand on the hard place. That way,
Mm-hmm.
in case he knocked his head, he knocked it on my hand and not on his face. And like a few times it happened, and I ended up having like bruised knuckles just
Oh
because he
yeah.
kept running into my hands, and I was just like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like when you try like to have like a out of body experience, and when these happens, like yeah, you have like a normal conversation with somebody, like while doing that, you're like
Yeah,
doing all these things like automatically, like okay, I'm gonna no, okay, don't knock yourself on that corner. Okay,
yeah.
don't do that. Like, and he start just climbing on you randomly. It's like you're having this
And you
conversation, like just like this creature crawling on you and like just
and you
trying to kill itself.
keep talking through the creature like
Yeah,
as if it's not there because you're just so freaking used to it.
it's
He
so
puts his
weird.
knee in your eye, and you're like, yeah. So the other day I was.
And it starts yelling, asking for snacks. Oh
Uh,
man.
yeah, yeah, and that's the thing about kids is that they're exhausting, they're overwhelming, they're a lot to handle, but there's not much else that brings me that much joy in my life.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this, it's just a whole different experience.
Kids are great.
Yeah.
It's funny, I was talking with Lord actually a few months back because I mean he doesn't have kids, right? So like he doesn't like he doesn't fully understand certain things.
Yeah.
And but you've seen like the very big like dramatic shift when I started like when I had kids, like from before to after. And one of the things I tried to explain to him, like why suddenly like kids are everything and you build your life around it, is just like a big portion of that. I don't know if that was for you, but like a big portion of that is like biological. Like
Yeah.
when you
You
start,
feel that need.
well, when you have that that first kid, like the second kid that didn't have it as much for me, but like the for the first kid, like it's so like biologically ingrained to love them because like you're yeah, like it's 4 a.m., you haven't slept yet, and like he just keeps crying, and like the logical part of your brain tells you to like lodge its head like in the wall, right? Or
Oh
just
yeah.
open the
Full
window and
force.
just like fastball his yeah, like his ass outside. But like but then like your other part of the body, the super like survival brain is like eat baby smell good, baby smell good,
Baby smell like love.
baby is cute. So like
Baby's very cute.
so like
Uh
your body knows, like your body
oh
knows
yeah.
that that creature is not gonna survive unless you're programmed to love it unconditionally from day zero. So that's
Yeah, exactly. No, that's
and
pretty crazy.
until like the actual like real affection comes in, like that comes in like at different levels, like the different parents that develop it at different stages, usually like I mean between like a few hours and a few weeks depending on the type of kid, the type of parents, how prepared they were for parenthood. Sometimes it just never happens because you're not actually open to it, or you're
Yeah.
just not present. But when you're actually present, like you have all these like biological needs and like your survival instincts, literally of like preserving the species. And to preserve that species, your baby needs to smell better than your desire to throw him outside the window.
Yeah, and that's there. Like that's a real thing. Like
Oh yeah.
in the middle of the night in particular, I could get so internally angry at the fact that my kid was awake. And like sometimes I would put him down, he would still be crying, but I'm just like, Daddy just needs to take a breath, walk out of the room, take a breath, and then come back in, recharge and ready to go. But like that it does, like you said, it's a good thing they're cute. It's a good thing they smell good. It's a good thing that when it's the middle of the day, they do like the most adorable thing, and they have the cutest little smiles, and they make the cutest little noises, and they bring you so many funny moments at different times in their lives, to see their progression and to see their development. That's one of the coolest things that I've
Oh
lived
yeah.
so far in life. uh, but thank God for all of that, because I don't know how many of them you'd find in the middle of the street, you know?
And
Uh,
that's it. Actually, like that's how it happens, right? Like you have those like crazy stories of like parents like drowning their kids in bathtubs, like putting them
yeah,
in
horrible
fucking
stuff.
putting them in fucking ovens, and like or like shaking them because like they keep crying, and you shake them until they don't cry. And
Yeah,
like that kind of like story, like that comes like, I mean, that's not normal obviously, but it's like that kind of stories come from like people's like biological, like that part of being a parent like does not unlock.
yeah,
They didn't pay for that DLC. Like
yeah. No, no, it's horrible and it's terribly sad, but like, but yeah, that's
and yeah,
it's
you have that, and then just like, I mean, being bonkers from the get-go obviously, and then like lack of sleep on top of that, and then just like, and just like a recipe for disaster. But
yeah, because you and I are very sane people, like
all things
relatively,
considered.
but absolutely the lack of sleep. And when like the worst for me was those moments when i I was just on the verge of sleeping. It's like, oh, it's finally happening, and then I hear that the little screechy noise that's made to wake you up, or else you won't hear them scream in the middle of the night. And those are the moments where I was like, oh man, I kind of understand how people can fall to those levels sometimes. I have enough self restraint, and I have enough strength left to not do that, but I kind of understand how people get to that point. And it's those situations that are the hardest. But like we said earlier, there's other situations, especially during daytime, where they more than make up for it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And one of the interesting things is like that's like these traits of what like the reason why you find like babies so appealing, and like that's shared with all mammals. Like all mammals have developed that thing.
Yeah,
It's like baby puppies and baby cats, like they all smell great and they all look cute as fuck, and they
yeah,
think the same thing about our babies as well, except like when they want to eat them. But like otherwise they do think it's cute, and that's why like you see dogs always often being like protective of like newborn babies or just kids around
yeah,
them, because like they are their puppies. And, you know, it's like they have those similarities, like the big eyes, the like wanky way of walking around, and just like bubbly heads and shit like that. Like
yeah.
that's all shared characteristic. All the mammals figured out like, okay, we need to buff a few stats to make up
A
from
few
the
charisma skills. Oh man.
kids are great. Don't put them in the oven, please. That's not great.
Yeah. There are places you can call and people you can talk to if you need help that are a better alternative. Let's put it that way.
Put
And
yourself in the
to
oven if you want. Don't put your kid in the oven.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a preferred alternative, but there are other better alternatives to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we want to wrap it up here,
Yeah, we can
I
wrap it
think
up on
what we
baby
could
murder.
say,
That's good.
yeah, yeah, that's a good place to stop. Just I think my last words for our subject of the day, which was not baby murder but burnouts, uh, would be just to keep an eye out for it. See, gauge your stress levels, gauge your tolerance levels, and if you see that it's like even before it gets too much to handle, try and practice some of those self-care methods. There's so many of them out there. There's meditation, sports, reading, just having a relaxing hobby, or listening to music for some people is the way to go. Like just try things out. Like I tried meditation. I'm not a huge fan of it. I tried yoga. I kind of liked it, but it hurts my knee. Uh, like there's a bunch of them out there that you can try and retry if it didn't work the first time and whatnot, because maybe you just didn't have the right guide or teacher or whatever. And and if worse comes to worse and you feel like you're slowly losing a grip on it, then that's when it's time to go see a doctor and discuss other ways, other methods, either
Yeah.
medication or a break.
One of the good things about the pandemic, and I mean, I know it caused a lot of stress to a lot of people, but I guess one of the uh, upside of that is that mental illness is finally like on the forefront. Like people finally see that it, like, oh wait, mental health is a thing. Like it's finally
Important
talked
thing.
about.
Yep.
So one of the good things about that now is that like a lot of workplaces now have a better understanding and a better infrastructure of on how to deal with that and deal with and help workers deal with situations of stress. And like now I can finally take like mental health days, whereas before that I would just say like, oh, yeah, I don't feel so good today, I'm not going to coming to work. Now I can just say I'm taking a mental health day, and that's it. Like that wasn't a thing back then. Like there's still like miles to do before like we actually have like proper mental health infrastructure in the workplace. But it's the best it's ever been because of the pandemic. So like take
Yeah.
advantage, a full advantage of that.
Yeah, and let's keep pushing it forward. Let's keep trying to make it better
Yep.
and use that momentum to go forward. I just want to go to chat real quick because we got a little message on Twitch over here. Hashtag iBags is hot. Thanks, Indy. You're absolutely correct. Let's make that a thing. Let's normalize eye bags, especially for parents.
Oh my god, man! One like with my first kid, like my my I like it got so bad. Like my eyes were like translucent around. Like I didn't have color left in my skin around my eyes. It was fucking awful.
My dad is known for having some pretty hefty eye bags, and my dad for a long time would work 70-hour weeks on a regular basis until he had a burnout too. That was years ago, but still. So he had the almost purple eye bags under his eyes, and when I became a dad, I started looking at myself in the mirror. I was like, man, I look more and more like my dad now.
Oh yeah, man. And
But yeah,
we're growing old.
yep,
I hurt my
we sure
back.
are.
I hurt my back getting a like a just like a pot of Play-Doh like a week ago, and
Mm.
my back still hurts.
Yeah, I've
I
got
I'm old.
I need to go see a I need to go see a therapist for my back too. Me, it wasn't something as uh funny as, as grabbing a pot of Play-Doh. I got knocked over at hockey and that hurt my back. So that's
Uh,
another story. But but yeah, it's better. But still need to probably get it checked out because it's still a little
yeah,
jolt of pain here and there.
growing old
But yeah, all
sucks,
that to
but it's
say,
great.
yeah, yeah, all that to say. Stay strong, people. Keep an eye out for your mental health.
Yeah,
Eye luggages, hashtag eye luggages are heavy on the back. Yeah. Yeah, actually that might be a thing. Maybe it's the new eye bags that we have here that are so heavy that it's hurting our back. Thanks for your insight, Indy.
yeah. It's not the kids crawling around and just like forcing you to do
Oh,
way more shit than your body's able to handle.
it probably doesn't help, but I mean, if you didn't have this extra weight over here,
Yeah, because the reason I hurt my back getting that fucking Play-Doh is because I had one kid in my arm and he didn't want to let go, but he really wanted that Play-Doh.
yeah, that sounds about right. That's happened before.
Oh man. Yeah. Take care of
So did we have
yourself.
time for yes,
Stay hydrated.
yes, and take a break. Have a Kit Kat. Not sponsored.
Man, I wish.
I fucking wish.
I'd go for a Kit Kat right now.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds nice.
I'll go pillage the Halloween candy of my kid.
We have no more. They did their job at pillaging that.
Yeah, my kid's too young and too reasonable yet. Like he hasn't become like these like greedy like dragon type like
Oh.
hoarder.
Did I lose everybody again?
Oh yeah, I hear you, but I don't see.
Hey. Whoop.
Oh,
Hi.
oh wow. Okay. Well, let's finish before you crash again.
Yes, let's do that. Did we have time for a game, or is it too late?
Well, how do you feel?
I'm okay.
I'm okay too. All right, so let's end that. We're gonna end that stream, and then we're gonna come back to some Phasmophobia. See you
Yeah,
guys in a
on
few.
Twitch, I'm just gonna put a little break screen, and I'll be right back.